What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Hugo Strange here one more time, and if you're reading the title of this video, then we're talking about why you don't share your faith. Now, the main reason for that is...
It's because you're a lukewarm Christian. You love the world more than you love Jesus. You're ashamed of the gospel.
No. The real reason why a lot of us struggle to share the gospel with people is the same reason why people struggle with things like love confessions or asking for a raise or anything of the sort. It's because we hate being vulnerable. Human beings are naturally inclined to not want to be placed in a vulnerable position. And sharing anything that's important to us makes us vulnerable. This is why it's so easy to talk about trivial things like our favorite band, movie, TV shows, anime, and whatever. But when it comes to talking about important things, we tend to not want to share too much. Vulnerability, I think, is one of the biggest issues that people struggle with when it comes to sharing their faith. Because most people don't know how to get around it, or most people don't know what to do with that vulnerability. First of all, let me assure you that being vulnerable, or that feeling of vulnerability when you want to share your faith, is a good thing. Because if you weren't feeling vulnerable, then that would mean ultimately your faith wouldn't matter to you. In the same way that nervous feeling you get when you're about to tell your crush that you're in love with her, if you didn't have that nervous feeling, it would mean that this wasn't important to you in the first place. So the fact that it's making you feel vulnerable to share your faith actually means you take your faith very personally. So that's a good thing. The next thing that a lot of Christians struggle with is going to be your close rate. I work in a job where I sell products along with a membership. Now, the company tells you that all they want you to do is tell people about the membership. It's not about the yes and the no, it's about the fact that you tell them about it. However, if you work in a for-profit company, then you know they want more yeses than they do nos. Thankfully, the gospel isn't like that. It's about the yeses and it's about the nos. The thing is, if you tell them and they repent, then salvation was brought. If you tell them and they don't repent, judgment is brought. In either scenario, God is glorified. And so don't worry about your close rate. If you go in and you fail, well, hey, you fail. Doesn't mean you have to try again. Doesn't mean you have to keep trying every day until they convert. If you share the gospel with your friend one time and one time only, that's all God requires. A lot of Christians get it in their mind that if they share the gospel and they're rejected, somehow they've failed. The reason being is because, yes, the Great Commission does tell us to go and make disciples and preach the gospel. However, we need to understand that their salvation is not up to us. I want you guys to go ahead and read Ezekiel 33, chapter 33, verses 1 to 9. To give you a quick summary of that chapter, basically, God is saying that there's this watchman. And when the sword comes, the watchman is supposed to blow the trumpet. And if the people hear the trumpet and they flee, then the watchman has done his job. However, if the watchman blows the trumpet and the people remain and the sword comes and kills them, the watchman still did his job. We who share the gospel are the watchmen. We blow the trumpet, and it's up to the people to decide how they want to respond to the trumpet. God doesn't want you to keep talking and talking and talking until they repent. God merely wants you to present the gospel to them. And this is where a lot of Christians get caught up. Yes, we're supposed to be able to defend our faith. Yes, we should be present to answer some questions, but that doesn't mean that their salvation is up to us. So I want to take that pressure off your shoulders. Now, as far as the vulnerability thing goes, how do we solve that? Well, there's a number of things you can do. For starters, I'm making a YouTube video. So that's what I want to do because that makes me feel less vulnerable. You need to figure out how you feel less vulnerable doing that. It could be something as simple as writing a blog and then saying, hey, go read this blog that I wrote and then tell me what you think about it. And then that way there's that separation where you're a little less vulnerable. The point is, not all of us are called to be street preachers. Not all of us are going to be able to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with someone. Not all of us are going to be able to, do all of the things that we think other people who share the gospel do. God made us all special and all of us unique, and so we're all different. However, like everybody else, I don't like feeling vulnerable, So I make YouTube videos, and what I share out there, I expect people to watch. So when people watch my YouTube videos, I feel a little bit less vulnerable. And if that's going to help me effectively share the gospel better, then why not use it? And so I just want to be honest with everybody and say, hey, look, I struggle with sharing the gospel too. It's been a while since I've done it. But now that I've recognized my vulnerability and recognized, how I struggle with that, I'm trying to overcome that by doing this. And hopefully this encourages you guys to try the same thing. All right, y'all, this is like the second time I've recorded this video. So I'm tired. I want to actually get my day started and do a whole bunch of stuff. I got a lot of projects going. So yeah. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it helps you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.